The iPhone has become one of the world's most popular cameras. So many of us use these cameras every single day, but it seems like most of the time we just scramble to find our iPhone, snap a quick pic, and move on, with oftentimes less than desirable results. iPhone photography can be so much better. So in this video, I'm going to show you 8 tips for iPhone photography. Enjoy! Tip number 1, orientation. This is an aspect of iPhone photography that is probably overlooked most of the time, but as Steve Jobs would say, you're holding it wrong. Jokes aside, when taking a picture, consider the orientation that your device is in, landscape or portrait, and decide which one will best fit everything in the photo. Remember, when viewing photos on a laptop or desktop computer, portraits aren't going to look as good as landscape since these sorts of devices are naturally in landscape. This can make a big difference when viewing photos after the fact and looking back on memories, so keep it in mind. Also, consider where the camera is located on your iPhone. Since it's not in the middle but rather on the corner, this enables 2 different shooting possibilities. For example, you can orientate the camera on the bottom left to get a neat shot like this, or you can orientate it to the top right to get a more standard looking shot like this. Tip number 2, get in focus. Yes, this one may seem obvious, but it's so important it's worth mentioning. Often we rush to get a shot and then find out later that what we were trying to take a picture of isn't in focus. So it's always good to just take a few seconds before you shoot to make sure that what you're trying to take a picture of is actually in focus. Focusing only takes a few seconds, just tap anywhere on the screen. You can also lock the focus by long pressing instead of tapping. This will ensure that what you're actually shooting stays in focus. Tip number 3, adjust lighting. When you tap to focus, you'll notice a little sun icon on the side of the focus square. This serves as a slider to adjust your camera's exposure or lighting. By sliding your finger up or down after tapping, you can quickly adjust the amount of light that is let into your camera's lens. This can drastically change the way your photos look. Now, you can edit lighting after your photo is taken, but you can only do so much after the fact. So just like with focusing, it's always best to take a few seconds before shooting to adjust this very important setting. If you're in a bright place with a lot of sunlight, for example, you may want to turn lighting down. If you're in a dark area or indoors, you probably want to turn it up. Most people are familiar with filters on photos. They're extremely common on social media and people love adding them for cool effects. Now, most of the time we add them after the picture is already taken, but iOS allows you to use live filters to see the effects in real time. Simply tap the filter button located next to the shutter button. Using this feature allows you to see exactly what your photo will look like with a variety of cool filters. You can really get creative with these, and it's a great way to have fun with iPhone photography while adding cool creative options. Tip number 5, use HDR. If you look at the top of your iPhone camera app, you'll see the HDR button. HDR stands for High Dynamic Range. Basically what this feature does is takes multiple photos and combines them to achieve a better overall picture. All you have to do is turn it on. Newer iPhones have Auto HDR, which will turn the feature on automatically when the camera thinks it needs it. It will take a few moments longer to actually take the photo, but HDR really improves the quality of photos in many cases. So to get the best possible shots, it's best to leave it on auto mode. If your iPhone doesn't have Auto HDR, it's best to use it on outdoor shots, but leave it off when indoors or in low light. Tip number 6, adjust the flash settings. This is another simple one, but again, it's worth mentioning. You can adjust flash using the button on the top of the camera app. Obviously, flash is good when in low light situations, and on newer iPhones, the color of the flash is actually decent thanks to the clever True Tone flash feature, which combines 2 different colors of flash and adjusts it based on the shooting environment. So most of the time the flash can be kept on auto and the iPhone will indicate when it's going to use it. But sometimes we need to take a picture in low light without an obnoxious burst of flash, and sometimes we may need to have the flash on when the iPhone camera doesn't think it needs to be on. In these instances, you can easily tap the flash button and turn it off or on manually, bypassing the auto mode. Tip number 7, use the shutter timer. This feature was introduced in iOS 8 and it can be quite helpful and fun, especially for selfies. You can set this timer for 3 or 10 seconds. After pressing the shutter, the iPhone will count down on the screen and will activate the flash for every second that it counts down. It then takes a burst of 10 photos. This allows you to set up your iPhone on a tripod or some other form of support, press the shutter button, and then run to get in the shot yourself. Tip number 8, take a moment to review. As pointed out in previous tips, it's very important to take the time before shooting to make sure the shot is great, but it's also important to take the time after shooting to review your shot. Perhaps you made a mistake and something didn't come out the way you thought. By taking a few moments to review your photos right after you take them, you can ensure that if something didn't come out right, you can take another shot right then and there, and you won't have to look back and regret that you took a bad photo. Also, even if everything is fine, it's a great opportunity to add a filter or edit lighting or color. Oftentimes we just forget about a picture after we take it, or we don't look at it for a while. Why not make sure it's the best it can be right after you take it? Reviewing your shots both before and after ensures that you always get the best possible photos and always preserve the best possible memories. So there you have it. Those are my 8 tips for iPhone photography. I hope you enjoyed these tips and are able to use them to improve your iPhone photos. As always, if you have not already, please be sure to subscribe for more geeky content like this, and leave a thumbs up and a like if you enjoyed the video. That's it for now. God bless and have a great rest of your day.